cord injury, what muscle groups do we have? Let's talk about this functionality. Let's start from functional
Bicep.
muscles.
Oh, sternocleidomastoid.
So we have our SCM, right? So we can do neck rotation. Can we do, what can we do with our shoulders?
Upper traps.
We have upper
Upper
traps.
traps.
We can do shoulder elevation. What about C5?
Abduction.
We can have baby duct. They can externally and internally rotate. Okay. What can they do?
They can adduct.
Small your
Adduct. We can
Elbow flexion.
elbow flexion and wrist extension. Okay. Wrist extension is the end of it. So one thing you guys are going to help each other do is that if we see triceps or core being utilized, really turn it off, because when we are your patients, it's going to be off as best as we can. So you really have to educate on the weight shift and this head hips technique. The head is the momentum driving force because that's where the strongest muscles exist. Okay? So with C6, one of the things you guys have to decide which side you are transferring to. The idea is that the bed mobility is performed to get the patient to the side where the wheelchair is so that they can do the transfer. When the patient is starting, they're going to most likely be somewhere towards the center of the bed, because we need enough for you guys to be safe to be able to go over to the side. So if you can start in the middle, you're like 3/4 of the way, because we need enough to be able to perform good momentum to the edge. Okay. So you guys, when we do your skills check, it's going to be on wide mats to be able to do this. Okay. C6, they have wrist extension. They won't be able to hold their hands together, but they can hold their wrists together. So you extend both wrists and lock them together. We don't have triceps, so they can't do straight arm movement. So it's going to be bent, but they're still using momentum from the head and their shoulders. So this is rough, but this is something that could potentially be. Now, if the head is here, I have a long lever arm and my center of mass is further back, so what do I need to do? Lift the head, okay? So the head is here, okay? And we rotate. What's next?
Cross the leg.
So you're gonna use your arms?
And I can, okay, but can I reach for the legs yet?
No.
Right, so so you guys, if your patient is struggling, you can help them to make that, whatever your patient can do, you may step in to help them do that as much as possible, okay? So our next step right here, now that we're in side lying, we have to get this arm underneath me, okay? So one thing the patient can do is, since they have those adductors, they can really get the arm underneath them, okay? And now that they're here, they have to use the weight shift to get on, okay? And now it is a weight shift, move your arm. Weight shift, move the arm, okay? We can't just walk here because they don't have enough trunk support to be able to do that without the weight shift. So when you guys are facilitating your patient, you're going to be weight shifting so that they free up one arm and move it, weight shift to the other side to free up that arm, weight shift. And we have to get the patient to a small enough package that they can swing the arm to hook it behind, and now they are working the legs off the table. If your goal is to get them into long sitting, okay, we don't have to drag the legs off of the side. We can use a head hips technique to get them into a long sit position. So it's going to be a swing, and the biceps on this side is going to help pull, okay? And they're pulling up into a long sit position, okay? Did I use triceps? Tried best not to, and that's the goal for C6, right? Now, if I wanted to, from this position, I could work my legs over the edge of the bed. I can also, from this position, I can work the legs over the bed, okay? However we want to be able to get that, yes.
I just wanted to, because when I watched the video a bunch of times, and it took me a minute to figure out, you're like leveraging, you're pulling your arm into your leg.
Because the leg is so heavy that
it pulls you up.
Yeah.
Because you can't press up.
You can't press up. So there was, in the video, he's so strong that he's able to he's able to weight shift and get an arm underneath and an arm shift, and keeps deducting. And then he's basically using his wrists and biceps to this. I cannot do that without utilizing my core. So it's like I can't do that way. So if I ever became a C6, I'd be royally screwed. So so that's the kind of things. And then he has those tightness in the paraspinals to kind of hold him into that position. But he's got really strong biceps and wrist extensors to be able to perform that. So to be honest, any way that makes sense, as long as you are cueing muscles that they have. If you tell your patient to press into the bed, and that's activating the triceps, we're gonna be like, I can't do that. You have to figure out a way to get them there, okay? C7, if you have a patient with a C7 or C8, they still are gonna do this. They will have elbow extension, and so the momentum aspect becomes a little easier, and now they have triceps to be able to do this, okay? And so someone was saying, well, if I get a